There is a real difference between trusting what someone does and trusting who someone is. His whole class runs on the first one, but Kei, his girlfriend, genuinely believes he loves her back. So that's what I want to dig into today. Whether relying on someone was ever the same as trusting them, whether that's really why the class turns on him the second he stops being predictable, and whether Kei is the only one who's actually got this wrong. For years, Ayanokoji keeps himself average on paper on purpose. Then season 4 happens, and the plan stops working entirely. His results stop making sense as average, and the class notices. Yukimura confronts him directly about it. It plays like an interrogation. Here is what I think is actually being tested in that scene. Whether the class can still predict him. As long as he was boring, he was safe because boring is predictable. The second he stops being boring, he becomes a problem to solve, even for his own class. Horikita steps in and covers for him, tells the class she told him to hide his ability, and that saves him. But I don't think that's comfort. It feels more like crisis management, dressed up as loyalty. Same thing he would probably do for a coworker who suddenly clocks in every task twice as fast. Nobody would be relieved, everyone would start asking what changed. Because reliability was the deal, and reliability just broke. But is that really about him, or is that just what happens to anyone the second they stop being predictable? There's an actual term for what's running underneath this. A researcher named Lewicki studied two completely different kinds of trust. One is calculus-based trust. You trust someone because you can predict them, and that prediction works in your favor. The other is identification-based trust. You trust someone because you actually know them. And I think this class is mostly running on the first one. Look at Horikita specifically, since she's the closest thing he has to an ally. She protects him constantly, strategizes with him, relies on his results without question. But ask what she actually knows about him underneath that, and there is not much there. She trusts the pattern, kind of like trusting a mechanic you have visited for 10 years, completely with your car and your money. Chances are you still couldn't think of one real thing about his actual life if somebody asked you. And this is where it gets complicated for me. Kei is the clearest case. Say, Ayanokoji ever had to choose between protecting her and protecting himself. Would he do it because he actually feels something for her, or because losing her creates a mess he would rather avoid? Honestly, the show never tells you which one it would be, which makes me think Kei might already be experiencing identification-based trust, believing this is real closeness, when what she's actually building her whole sense of safety on could just be calculation dressed up to look like affection. So what happens to the person stuck inside it, betting everything on the version that isn't real? By season 4, the class can finally see what Ayanokoji is capable of. What they still can't see is him. And that's actually the sadder version of this if you sit with it. A betrayal at least tells you something happened. This feels worse, because nothing ever has to break for him to stay a stranger to the people closest to him. Horikita could keep protecting him for years, Kei could keep building her whole read on him around the choice that might never even happen. Calculated trust can run a relationship for a lifetime and never once turn into someone actually knowing you. Think about a couple who have been married 30 years, still splitting chores and still remembering how the other one takes their coffee. Still functioning perfectly as a team basically. And it can also be true that neither one of them has really talked to the other about anything that matters in years. Nothing broke. The routine just kept running, which might be exactly the problem. That's what makes Kei's case the sharpest version of this, I think. If Ayanokoji really is just calculating with her, it would look exactly like love, forever. Nobody watching, maybe not even Kei, would ever be able to tell the difference. The show never tells us which one it actually is. Which leaves me with the real question. Not whether Ayanokoji trusts anyone, whether it would even be possible to tell from the outside if he ever did. So his class stopped being able to explain him, they never actually started knowing him, And whether that gap closes for anyone, this show may never let us find out, or maybe in the next season. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.